His name is Abdullah Al-Shafil. Some of you may have seen him on Facebook. He was shot in his eye during the July Revolution. And as it turns out, our lack of execution capability in the government made him wait for over 90 days before he could actually get any form of treatment. So as he was groaning in pain, he decided to buy his own ticket and to go to Singapore for his own treatment, forgetting about whether the government is eventually going to send him money or not. And he went with his mother, who has never stepped out of Khulna ever in her life, doesn't speak English, doesn't understand a bit of it. He went through the surgery by the time I actually met him, and the doctors basically told him that one of his eyes are completely gone, and the other one is somewhat retrievable, but he needs constant treatment to get to somewhere. He was stuck at the hospital actually when I met him. He's still waiting for the government money to come through because otherwise he can't get a release from the hospital. Yet, when I met him, he was absolutely full of energy and enthusiasm. He was very excited to talk about how he eventually wants to become a scientist, and he's apparently got some very cool ideas that are locked in his drawer secretly that he thinks are ready for patent. He's saying this to me while his mum, who is literally sitting 5 feet away from him, completely in tears, and because this is her only son, and she's genuinely worried about whether the treatment's going to go through, whether he will ever be able to do a job. Because as I walked with Shafil, I actually realized, because he only has one eye, he was struggling to walk in a straight line. Yet his energy was absolutely through the roof, and I genuinely felt that I was nowhere near him when I was in my 20s. So that gave me a perspective of the youth we talk about Bangladesh. So in a frantic exercise to save some of Shafil's pain, I actually tried to reach out the NRBs in Singapore. And I met this another guy. His name is Dr. Muntasir. I don't know if you've met him or if you've heard of him before. So Dr. Muntasir is actually one of the well-known NRBs in Singapore. During COVID-19, him and a few of his colleagues, they went out completely on their own and took fairly unassuming life risk to go into these dormitories. If you recall, during COVID-19 crisis in Singapore, the COVID broke out in Bangladeshi dormitories. So he walked into these dormitories with a handheld mic, trying to explain in Bangla how to deal with COVID challenges. He's been since recognized by the government, and the government has actually taken his effort to a further level by creating a charity to help the migrant workers. So when I spoke to him, he went way out of his own boundary to try to help Shafil in some shape or form, and make sure that he can be released as soon as possible. Now, if we as a government were not as lackluster as we are today, and we could find a way to harness the strength that Shafil has, and also somehow connect Shafil with the likes of Dr. Muntasir, then lives would have been very, very different. Very, very different. And this is exactly where this conclave comes to play. So I walked away from that 24-hour experience with full of hope, but at the same time realizing that there's just so much to be done between where we are today versus where we could be with the NRBs.